Hello, hello. It's Carolina from Sade Adventures. I am popping on here to go through the itinerary that I just finished putting together for Ecuador. And there are a lot of moving pieces. So I thought it'd be easier to just go through the trip with you here. And of course, jot down any questions. I'm more than happy to meet again and go through it in person as well and go over any concerns that you may have. This is a really big trip. There are so many different options, and I think this is just a perfect combination to show you really three faces of Ecuador. So let's see how you like it. So this particular trip would start on March 1st. Everything on the itinerary is flexible, but the cruise itself that we built the trip around departs on a specific date. So we built everything around the cruise. After our conversation back and forth, and especially if you are just traveling the two of you and you're not constricted to your son's travel dates, I started and ended the trip in Quito, but if you want to start in Guayaquil or end in Guayaquil, no problem at all. We will work around your flight, so just let me know. But right now, you're arriving in Quito. There will be our team at the airport. They hold a Sade Adventure sign with your name on it, a private guide, private car driver will take you right to Quito downtown. And Quito is a really beautiful colonial city. It has some amazing properties here, and our favorite one is Casa Gangotena. It actually, within a year of opening, it was voted the #1 hotel in South America. So you can kind of understand the caliber of this property. It is absolutely gorgeous, stunning location, great rooms, great chef, great service, whatever you need. This hotel provides, and it's smack in the middle of the main square. So literally you wake up, go outside, and you know that you're in Quito. So I really love this location. There's a few hotels in this area, which this is where I always put all my clients. When you come across Quito, there are a lot of properties and the city is very large, and there's a new town. And sometimes clients make the mistake of booking their hotels in the new town, but that just means you're going to be taking taxis back and forth to see anything, go out to dinner. So I never recommend staying anywhere but the old town because it's so charming. So you rest, you check in, you rest, spend the night. And on March 2nd, our guide after breakfast, which we always include, will come back and will show you the highlights of Quito. And we put together a really interesting tour where we focus on many different ways to see Quito. So of course, the old town, the colorful buildings, the cathedral, but also Guayasamín Museum, which is the most famous artist of Ecuador. And we also do a chocolate tasting experience because Ecuador is the birthplace of chocolate, of the cacao bean. So there's a lot of hands-on interaction here, beautiful lunch with views of the city. The city itself is surrounded by volcanoes. There's a gondola ride. There's beautiful hikes if you want to be outside today. It is a 9,000 feet of altitude. So those first day, that first day especially, we kind of take it easy. We have a car at our disposal, but we do lots of walking because the city just asks for you to be outside. So that is what the day would look like. Then in the afternoon, we take you back to the hotel. You can rest, have dinner at the hotel, or have dinner in the square at another property. So there's lots of options here. Under each day, I put a BL or BLD. That stands for the meals that I have included in the package. So breakfast is always at the hotel. Then I included lunch at a restaurant during your tour, so you can have something with a beautiful view. The following day, we will go up north to Otavalo, and this is that region where I mentioned that indigenous communities come together to trade with each other, but also, trade or allow souvenir shopping for our guests. So besides the market, which is the largest market in South America, very colorful, very exciting, and chaotic at times, we will also go deeper and not just spend time in the market, but we will actually go to a weaver's house so you can meet a typical weaver family and what their life is like. We will go to a place, all the little towns up there have a specialty. So one might be filled with bakers and one may be filled with wood carvers. So you will get to experience all the different communities that are in this area. Besides that, it is lakes and mountains and beautiful views of llamas, running around the mountains. So it's a great day in the north of Quito region. a really nice opportunity to come face to face with the culture up here. I really love this area, and everyone has a really great time in Otavalo because there's so many different things that you can experience here. And then again, we return right to Quito for the night. And on our last night in Quito, March 4th, we will head south. So going down the Avenue of the Volcano, this is a famous part of Ecuador. This is kind of like the heart of the mainland. It is a beautiful road, the Pan American Highway, and it is surrounded by volcanoes on either side. And there are villages and markets scattered throughout this area. And the reason why we go down here is the Cotopaxi National Park. This is an active volcano. It is a beautiful park, amazing hikes. There's lagoons here. So we can customize the trip to your liking. So of course, again, this is your private guide, the same guide who have been with you now for 4 days. He knows your likes, knows your dislikes, kind of can read what we should be doing today. And that's kind of such a perk of having the same guide day after day, because he really becomes your friend. And then we can decide once we get to a hacienda, which is like a local ranch in the Andes, if we want to ride horses, or if we want to go with the ranchers to a hike to the lagoon, if we want to go to see lava spill. So you decide, but anything you'd like to do up here is included. And then we have a traditional Andean lunch at the hacienda, with the local cowboys, and it's just a beautiful day. My husband's actually from this area of Ecuador, so we really love sending people down here and also visiting every time we go. 7 times now that I've been down there. Excuse me. And that leaves us with 4 nights at Quito. And for a special treat tonight, I included, so sorry, I'm choking. I included a reservation at Nuema, and that is the restaurant that I mentioned to you that does a really beautiful Ecuadorian culinary experience. They do like a 16-course meal with wine that's chosen for each part of the meal, and it kind of represents everything in Ecuador, from the Amazon to the coast to the Galapagos. It's a really beautiful experience. So we will take you here. We will make sure we have a reservation done. You have transportation back and forth, and of course the meal included, because I want you to experience it. I was just there in December, and so we went and got to meet the chef and eat at Nuema, and we're very excited for Ecuador to have this beautiful restaurant in Quito. So that is your Quito portion of the trip, and on March 5th we are ready to fly to the Galapagos. So we're going to take you to the airport. At the airport, we're going to have a Galapagos assistant, and they will walk you through all the steps that are needed. Galapagos is a protected archipelago, so there's going to be lots of rules. You need an ID card, you need a permit, you need to go through customs. They will check all kinds of things, your bags, your shoes, and so on. And every step is a different place at the airport, so it kind of gets confusing if you try to do it on your own. That's why we have a Galapagos assistant at the airport, walking you through all the steps, putting you on the flight, making sure you're checked in, everything is ready to go, and you arrive to the Galapagos 2.5 hours later. Once you land, we're going to start with the cruise. I've chosen a 16-person catamaran for you. It is called the Natural Paradise. There's 9 cabins on board, and there's only 2 upper deck suites with balconies, and I have chosen one for you. I have put it on hold. So please let me know your thoughts on this boat, because I have it on hold for 24 hours. This is a boat I've sent a ton of people on because I really love when suites offer balconies. I think the Galapagos calls for you to be outdoors, and you're going to spend majority of the time outdoors anyway, but it's nothing like sitting on a balcony, drinking a cup of coffee in the morning and watching the islands go by, because it's not like a cruise in the Caribbean where half of the time you see water. In the Galapagos, you're almost always next to some island. There's always some activity. There's always something to look at. So it's really nice to have indoor and outdoor space. So this is a luxury yacht, 16 people maximum. The reason for that is because a typical guide can only take 16 people to any part of the Galapagos at any time. So that comes into your favor. The groups are never larger than 16. And then here's some photos of the boat. As you see, it's 9 cabins, but it's really 8 cabins. They have a 9th cabin that's a single for sometimes when we send a tour leader. Outdoor, indoor eating. There's a jacuzzi with a large space to relax. And of course, the cabin itself has a beautiful balcony with a sitting area. And it's quite beautiful and airy, and it's private. So that makes it very special, because a lot of the boats will have the walkway outside of your room, and they call it a balcony, but really it's not if people can walk in front of it for you. So then I also chose this boat because I really liked their 4-night cruise and everything that they are able to accomplish. Because the Natural Paradise is a newer boat, it means it's a faster boat. It was built for the Galapagos. Therefore, the engines are working harder. They are going through those waves faster, and you are able to accomplish a lot more. So this boat actually starts in San Cristobal, which is here at the bottom. And then, so you'll have some sites here in San Cristobal, which is one of the 3 village islands. And then it continues on into the central islands. And as you can see, within 4 nights, it tackles a lot. I was very excited that it goes to Bartholomew Island, because that is one of my favorite sites. I think it's one of the most unique islands in the Galapagos. So I'm very excited for you to go there. So let's go through the itinerary. What does it look like? Every day on the boat, you will get off the boat at least twice. So I've put the full itinerary so you can see the location you're going, what you're going to do there, the highlights, what kind of landing, or if you're not landing, what activity you're going to do. Is it kayaking? Is it hiking? Is it snorkeling? Is it a dry landing where you step onto a rock, or a wet landing where you step on the beach into the water? But you will have an opportunity to get into the water every day, either from the beach, walking into the ocean, or jumping off the boat, or going on a kayak and things like that. They will have plenty of opportunities for all kinds of adventures. And you will be able to go on a hike every day. So usually there's 2 excursions every day, sometimes 3. And every day includes some kind of walk or hike. And we put in the difficulty so that if it's a difficult day, what to expect that afternoon. It is quite diverse because every island is very different. White beaches, black beaches, red sand beaches, and every island has different colonies of animals. So I really like this particular itinerary, because on this short cruise, you will be able to see blue-footed boobies, penguins, Galapagos penguins, flamingos, and of course, sea lions and turtles and everything that every itinerary sees. But not every itinerary sees penguins and flamingos, and this one does. So it was a win-win for me when I found the cabin available, and that is why I chose it. So this is Bartholomew Island, like I was saying. It's quite unique and special. First, you hike all the catwalks to the top, and then you go to the bottom and you can swim here. And literally, penguins are swimming along this coast as well. This is a huge snorkeling site that is very popular. So lots to see and do in this one site. And every island is like that, and every island is different. As you see, this is completely just lava rock that you hike on. So it's very exciting. Lots of iguanas as well. So after 4 nights of the cruise, you will come back to the dock, which will be in Baltra on Santa Cruz Island. In here, we will pick you up and take you to the highlands. So Santa Cruz is like a one big hill. The port where the cruises are on one side, the little villages on the other side, and on the top is the highlands. It's like a cloud forest. It's really high up in the air. It's quite beautiful. This is where all the giant tortoise plantations are, or where they roam free. And here are 2 fantastic lodges. So the lodge that I have here listed for you is called the Picaya Lodge. It is a luxury lodge up in the highlands, and we will go here for 3 nights. The concept is the same as a cruise. They include all the excursions and all the meals. They have a beautiful restaurant, one of the best restaurants on the island. And they have their own yacht if you want to do excursions to other sites, which they recommend. If you're there for 3 nights, the first day is kind of enjoying the lodge, maybe renting, taking one of their bikes and going on a bike tour. But really, most people just enjoy the spa and the pools and the, amenities. And it's just so beautiful to sit up here and look down, and there are giant tortoises on the grasslands below you. The views are stunning from here. I have stayed here with my family at one point. The lodge rooms are, I chose the balcony king room. There's upgrades to some suites, and there's a downgrade to a terrace room. But the style is the same all across the board. I really love the indoor outdoor living again, so that you can really feel like you're in the Galapagos. This is a cloud forest, so the air is very fresh up here. And so the way that they suggest you do the activities, and you see, you're up on the hills and the ocean is just right there. So they have access to the water and access to the highlands. What they suggest is that you do is the first day is your, day to enjoy the lodge. The second day is a day to enjoy by land all the excursions. Go to the coffee plantation, ride the bike, go to the giant tortoise plantations, go hiking, go on some of the trails. That is the idea, to be on that first full day at the lodge. Of course, they have a transfer back and forth to the beach as well, where you can kayak, where you can stand up paddleboard, and of course, just enjoy the beach and swim. And there'll always be sea lions and iguanas there as well. It looks something like this. And then the following day, the second full day on the lodge, they have their day yacht. So they suggest that you enjoy some of the excursions that they arrange on the day yacht to yet another island. It's probably Santa Cruz or Santa Fe, whatever it is that they arrange that afternoon, but it's beautiful. They do lunch on board. Everybody actually has a cabin if they want to rest, but you'll have an opportunity to swim, to hike, to be out really active, or as active as you'd like to be before you come back to the lodge for dinner. Really well done programs. I love the combination of the cruise followed by the lodge, because it gives you a lot of flexibility to see what life is like on the island. I suggest one afternoon even heading into the village, which would be about a 20-minute ride from here. They will arrange the transfer for you, and that way you'll get to see where people live and the little restaurants in the village. And there's a big fish market, which is very popular for photography, because the big pelicans come down and try to steal the fish. So really, really great opportunity for you here. They are also very close to the Charles Darwin Research Center, so they will obviously take you there as well. So you get to experience, the famous George turtle or tortoise that is preserved there, and learn all about the education here on Galapagos Islands, which is why people come here. So after your 3 nights at the lodge, which will be day 12, we will take you back to the airport, and you will fly back to the mainland, either Quito or Guayaquil, and connect with your flight home. So it's very straightforward. We will take care of the arrangements, all the logistics for you. And all I need to know is where you're flying from and what time. The flight should be an evening flight, at most flights from Ecuador to Florida are. So that is your 12-day trip. So option number 1 is with the cruise that I mentioned, which is the Natural Paradise, and the Galapagos Picaya Lodge, which is what I mentioned, and that's $16,999 per person. And option number 2 is what I mentioned when we met at the club, and that is the Galapagos Safari Camp. This is the same concept. 3 nights there, all your meals included. They have their own day yacht. They do all the excursions, and they're not very far from the Picaya. So the location is very similar. The scenery is very similar. There's giant tortoises all around, but the accommodations, instead of a room like this, you have a African style safari tented camp. So very unique, very special. I have stayed here with my family as well, and we just absolutely loved it. If it's too much for 3 nights to be in a tent, although it's private bathrooms and everything that you need, just like a room, and they have a building for the restaurant and everything like that, the spa. That one is $15,599 per person. So let me know your thoughts. Everything that you need is included. So your internal flights, your permits, all the hotel and cruise accommodations with meals, with taxes, with permits, everything included. All the meals, as you see, BLD, that means it's included. Transportation on the mainland, transportation on the islands, between the lodges, between the cruise, Of course, all of our team is English speaking, professional, unlicensed, and we take care of all the behind the scenes logistics for you so that all you have to do is show up, with a sense of adventure. The only thing that's not included are your international flights, and then travel insurance, which I recommend because this is quite an active trip. And what else? Just personal spendings or tipping for your cruise and things like that, which is not mandatory, but if you want to tip, that's the kind of things you need to bring along with you. So I am excited to hear your thoughts on both options. I'm going to send it to you now, and I look forward to hearing from you. Happy planning.